All right, so we are going to talk about Module 1, the course syllabus and schedule. First, we want to think about the assignments, the due dates, stuff like that. It's probably the most important first things we want to think about. We have a discussion board this weekend, which will be on in Module 1. In Module 2, we'll go over lesson planning, research tips for your research table. Also go over content knowledge assessment and lesson planning using student learning outcomes. You're going to be ending up planning a lesson plan for lab. You'll be creating a 60-minute lesson plan, and then you'll be teaching a 15-minute portion of that lesson plan to the class during camp. More information will be in Module 2. Module 3, we'll talk about behavior management and adaptive aquatics and an IEP and the literature review. Will be due that week. Then Module 4 or week 4, we'll have an IEP assignment, which will be due. You'll be learning about that in Module 3 or week 3. And you'll have some discussion board topics on the camp abilities and perceptions toward individuals with disabilities. Every week you'll see there's a discussion board. There is a final paper that is due and 6/24, but you will be getting started on that this week of class. You'll be creating 3 research questions. If we go to the assignment, you'll create 3 questions, and here's a student example of what that looks like. So 3 different research questions. This individual asks, what are the benefits of teaching balancing and coordination to individuals with Down syndrome? The research or purpose. I want everyone to have some type of research or purpose. So like, why are you interested in this subject? And then you just explain 3 different research questions. So it could be on the same disability. It could be just different avenues of strength and conditioning. You could look up, maybe you want to look up what are the benefits of yoga? What are the benefits of strength and conditioning? What are the benefits of aquatics? And then based on those 3 questions, you'll end up choosing one question that will turn into a research table eventually. So if we move backwards here, if I can. The research table, which would be the next thing due for the research, which will take a question that you asked. The question that you're going to ask is basically, choosing a disability that you're interested in about, and then you will ask a question such as, what are the benefits of this or that is health or fitness related. So anything that in your field of interest, so if you're going to be a PT or OT and you're interested in maybe range of motion for individuals with cerebral palsy, or if you're going to be a personal trainer and you want to look up adapted fitness programs for individuals with intellectual disabilities or individuals with Down syndrome, or maybe you're looking for maybe dance programs or yoga programs for people with autism spectrum disorder. So whatever you're interested in, ask a question, what are the benefits of yoga for individuals with autism? What are the benefits of swimming for people with cerebral palsy? And then after you've created your research questions, you'll create a research table based off one of those questions. So you're going to narrow your research question from 3 to 1. After selecting your question, create a research table for 5 articles that support one of your research questions. 3 articles should include both the disability and topic. So if it is cerebral palsy and swimming, you'd want to make sure there's 3 articles that study the effects of swimming on individuals with cerebral palsy. So looking at a peer-reviewed study. The other 2 can be a combination of the disability and topic, or they can be isolated to help support your research question. Okay, let's head back to the research question and purpose, because this disability research guide is going to be ultimately your best guide to finding what research is available that is offered to you in this class. Okay, so you don't have to go to the library. You don't have to go use UNCW library if you want to look at some of these topics. Maybe you're interested in amputations and individuals with physical impairments. So here would be an article on that. Okay, there's different topics and disabilities that you can choose from. Students with specific learning disabilities, here's some articles on that. Students with autism, students with severe emotional disturbances. So program planning and prescription, attitude, social inclusion and safety issues, transition planning, community sports, Special Olympics. So whatever topic you're interested in, do some research, create 5 articles, or come away with 5 articles that will basically tell me what the purpose of the study was, or what was the purpose of the article that you're reading, and then the methods or procedures. So what was the protocols that were used? Who were the people that were involved with the study? What were the instruments used to measure the individuals? What were these instruments? Would they look like? That type of thing. How long was the study? That was a qualitative study? Was it quantitative? Basically, there should be a whole paragraph on the purpose and methods. So that should be your first paragraph once you write your literature review, but we'll get into that later. So you have your methods of procedures, your results and discussion. So explain the results of the study. What was the significance of the results? Why or why are not the results significant? Or the underlying causes of the results? To really discuss the results in detail and discuss those results. And then maybe discuss any articles or research that has similar results as those article results. So discuss any important topics that came up from that article that you read, any good discussion points, and then evaluation. So evaluate the study without saying I. So basically you can't say, I think the study was not reliable. You have to say something like the study, showed, poor reliability because, participants didn't show up each week, and, the data seemed like it was, just trying to be a little bit biased. So, I mean, if you have an opinion about the article, if you see something wrong with the instruments or the methods, this is your time to kind of evaluate or critique this actual study, the measurements, the participants. If you think it was a good study, you have to kind of support the evidence. Why was it a good study? Okay. And all while trying not to say I, because that is what we use in APA. So this is all APA. Okay. APA, I want the APA citation, and I want you to write an APA when you're discussing these different types of brackets here. So we have APA citation in the first row. Then we have the purpose of the study, the methods of the study. If you're reading, maybe you're looking up CDC website on a disability, maybe you're just examining something else and you're discussing something else. But for most part, you're going to be looking at peer-reviewed studies. And then here's an example of what that might look like. So here's the effects of movement and swimming program on vital capacity and water orientation skills for children with cerebral palsy. The purpose of the study, the methods of the study, the results of the study, and evaluation of the study. Okay, and you're going to do 5 of these for the assignment, and here is your template for that. 3 of the research tables should be your 2 topics combined, or the topic and disability combined. So that would mean, if you're examining individuals with cerebral palsy and swimming, 3 articles must be on that. The other 2 can be a combination of that, or it can be in isolation. So it can just be 1 article on individuals with cerebral palsy that just looks at behavior. That doesn't really include swimming. Or it could be combination if you like. Okay, so you're just going to find 2 more that kind of support your research. So if you're examining cerebral palsy and individuals with cerebral palsy and swimming, 1 extra article could be about cerebral palsy and the other article could be about the benefits of swimming. Okay, maybe the benefits of swimming on joint pain, or the benefits of swimming in general. And then that way you can help create a good introduction when you create your literature review. okay? So that is the research table. After you create the research table, you'll have a literature review. So basically what you're going to do is create a title page first, and you can always just make a copy of this, and then use that as your template, okay? Introduce the topic, okay? Whether that's swimming or cerebral palsy, if this is about, and then eventually transition us into the literature review, okay? You really only need 2 paragraphs. This individual did 3 paragraphs, but the first paragraph could be a general abstract about, maybe health barriers for people with disabilities in general. And then you could talk about, say, the disability itself. And then the last paragraph could be about the actual intervention. And then you could talk about the transitional sentence from the introduction to the literature review. Literature review will contain 3 articles from the research table, the 3 articles that contain both the topic and the disability. So you'll create a subheading of the first article that you reviewed, and you'll undo the research table lines, and you'll write about the purpose of the study, and then you'll talk about the methods of the study, and then you'll talk about the results and discuss the study, and then you'll have an evaluation of the study. Okay, and you'll go in that order for each article. Okay, this individual did more than the required amount. They did 4, and then you'll have a reference page at the end. So following that order, if I could say that again, I could say, and I can show you some different research ideas and some different papers. Intro, the transition, literature review, okay? Just keeping it simple, okay? Talking about exactly what's in the purpose and methods, and then going through the discussion and discussing the results, sorry, and then going through the evaluation of the article, okay? And then eventually you'll create a final research paper. The final research paper will just be a continuation of the literature review. So you've already created your literature review. You'll get feedback from me on your literature review and on your research table and your research questions. And I'll give you feedback, and you'll change any necessary APA errors or any type of citation issues I might see, or general organizing tips. And then you'll create a final research paper after your literature review is corrected. You'll add a discussion section and a future recommendation section, okay? Should be about 2 paragraphs each. The discussion should talk about a synthesis of the literature review, as well as any main themes that were discovered. The future recommendation should uncover those themes and maybe talk about future research or future recommendations or programming for this specific question that you have hopefully answered by the end of your final research paper. So that is the research. The lesson plan assignment will be posted shortly. The IEP assignment will also be posted shortly. There is 5 discussion board posts. They are due weekly, okay? There is the research question due this weekend with the discussion board posts. Then the research table and the lesson plan assignment is the following week. Then you'll have a literature review. The IEP assignment will come the next week. And then lastly, you'll have not the research table, that should actually say final research paper. And then you'll have your lab practicum participation. You'll get 10 points or 10% for that. So making sure that you're here at lab, that you'll be great on your professionalism, participation, and engagement. And all those assignments will be located, will be basically located on Canvas and will be uncovered or I'll release those future modules in the next couple weeks. Okay, so discussion board 1, what you'll do is watch the video. Okay, I have some tips for the reflection prompts. The reflection prompts are inside the video. You have to watch the video in order to create your discussion board. And then you'll initially respond to individuals by 528, and then you will reply to peers by 531. Okay, so let me just fix that real quick, just so that's in order. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to initially respond to the video prompts, then you're going to reply to your peers, and then you're going to have bonus points for adding the reflection prompt on the slide titled Changing the Way We Speak. Okay, so there are some extra prompts on the bonus slides that will give you an 8th prompt. So make sure you check that out. Okay, now if you have questions about the discussion board or module 1, just you can always email me. The part Q should be performed before your first lab, physical activity lab, which will be next week on Tuesday from 12:30 to 2:30 in the Trask Gym. We'll be working with a group of participants with intellectual disabilities, and we just want to make sure that you've gone through the physical requirements and you've signed off on your Part Q. If you say yes to any of these Part Q questions, you'll just say, I selected yes for one or more answers. If you selected no for all answers, you'll just say no. So you're just going to reply to this Part Q by just saying yes or no with your name and the date that you submitted that, okay? If you do select yes, there are some avenues for you to still participate. Otherwise, you may just have to teach and coach and not worry too much about physical activity for camp, but just helping out the mentees. So you really don't need to physically participate, but if you select no for everything, you'll be good to go. So that is module 1. All right, so let me go ahead and stop the recording. Yeah, I'll just stop the recording.